And once again we find ourselves staring into the abyss of space, and we're somewhere in the middle of nowhere. Except that, if we look behind ourselves, we'll find a huge terrestrial planet, and looks like we're actually falling on it. This is Space Engineers, and today we're going to be taking a look at the newly re-released version of Space Engineers that includes a modification called planets. In other words, Space Engineers now has planets where you can land, explore, harvest, and do all kinds of other crazy things. Welcome to What the Math. Today we're going to be exploring the planets in Space Engineers. Welcome to Space Engineers. And today we're going to be exploring these various planets, starting with this one, which I believe is just called Earth. This is a planet that's sort of based on the medieval engineers, where you have mountains, you have trees, you have lakes, and you have destructible terrain, which you can obviously harvest with your Space Engineers harvester. We're going to land on it, or I guess in this case, crash land on it, and explore its surface. And looks like we're approaching the surface a little bit too fast. I may actually not survive this fall, and I'm just going to respawn at the original respawn point, just to show you where you start if you begin the game on this terrestrial planet called Earth. Now, this is obviously not the Earth itself. This is sort of a terrestrial planet that has a lot of Earth-like features, and boom. Oh, we survived. Yay, look at that. Now, what I really like about this new modification is that it literally combines medieval engineers with a lot of the Space Engineer stuff. So, for example, you can obviously build things. Like, you can actually construct your ships on the fly using all kinds of different modules, all kinds of different materials that many of us have already used in Space Engineers. But on top of that, you're also given a choice to fly out of this planet to a new one. There's actually quite a lot of them in the sky right now. There's at least four, or at least three other planets I see. And there's a fourth behind us somewhere, which I saw before this. So there's quite a lot of planets that are randomly generated, and you can even, if you play in a creative mode, you can even generate your own by pressing Shift and F10 and basically going into planets right here. And choosing the size of the planet that you would like. Maximum size is 120 kilometers. So all of these are actually not really planet-sized. I mean, they're... Oh no, I just fell down and I'm lying on the ground. Yay. All of these are basically... they're large asteroids. Even though they look like planets, they're really large asteroids. And you can actually select all kinds of really cool things here. So there's an alien planet, there's Earth-like planet, there's Europa, which is the satellite of Jupiter, there's Mars, Moon, and so on and so forth. We're just going to, just to test this, we're going to spawn an alien world, and it will most likely be right behind us. And there it is. I just spawned it right there. I can actually spawn another one right next to it. Now, since there is no collisions in this game yet, if these planets come too close to each other, nothing will really happen. There will be some gravity changes, and basically you'll actually get influenced, or you'll feel influence from both planets. So if you're right in between them, there will be zero gravity. If you're a little bit closer to this one, then it will actually start attracting you. But other than that, there's really no difference in terms of what these planets do. So even if I spawn one inside of that other planet, it's not going to do anything. They're just going to be inside each other like this. Anyway, so let's actually explore the terrestrial planet first, and then we can see what else there is. And so when you start on a terrestrial planet, this is what you get. You get your own base with a few miners on it that you can use to mine various resources around you. There's also possibly going to be some enemies nearby that will fly around and possibly attack you, depending on what mode you're playing in. I'm going to choose this ship right now, and we're going to go and explore a little bit. I think this is actually a fighter ship. Or is it? I'm not sure. And let's just fly around. Let's see what we can find. There's really lots of cool things to explore here. But unfortunately, one downside is that this game is still using Space Engineers mechanics and physics. So even though I'm playing inside the atmosphere, you don't really get any atmospheric effects. So it just kind of feels like you're flying above an asteroid or something, even though it does look like a planet. Now, there's something right there. Let's go check it out where that is. But all in all, this is actually a pretty cool addition. I mean, just having these terraformed planets with oxygen on them, and the fact that you can actually literally mine everything here is a pretty cool addition, I think. And what is that? What is that? Oh wait, I'm being shot at. Oh, that's an enemy. Never mind, that's an enemy base. This is so cool, look at that. So yeah, they're shooting at me, they're trying to destroy my ship. And they actually did damage us. Anyway, let's move out of here. I'm being attacked from everywhere. And if you're playing with a mining ship, you can obviously try to mine these mountains and try to get some of the deposits from them. Unfortunately, it's not as easy as it was in Space Engineers, because here, well, not only is there gravity, but there's also just the fact that this is just a very large planet makes it a little bit more challenging. So this is the terrestrial planet. Let's take a look at the other ones. There's several types of new planets that are available to us. Let's go to the one that looks like Mars. And welcome to Mars, everyone. Look at that. This is pretty awesome. Let's fly around and see what it looks like. So this is yet another planet here, and this time it's with Martian-like appearance. Oh, and there's another planet near us. So all of these other planets are actually randomly generated for every world that you create. Depending on the seed you choose, you will possibly get more or less planets that you can then fly to using your spaceships. Now, it looks like this planet is a little bit more simple. Basically, it's just a red planet that has a lot of orange-like appearance and deposits, and also a bit of ice as well. This base is also a little bit smaller, and it does seem like more like a colony than an actual base. And looks like there is a little bit less gravity here as well, which is interesting. All right, so there's iron and silicon near us. Let's see if we can maybe mine some of this stuff. I'm gonna go get into my miner, and we're gonna try to mine some of this stuff using this spacecraft. So now we are inside the miner. We're gonna try to approach the deposits and possibly mine them without destroying the ship. I haven't played Space Engineers in a really long time, so I may have actually forgotten how to play, but looks like there is all of these deposits are really deep inside, so I have to mine through this ice deposit to get to silicon, iron, and whatever else is in there. And whoa, I'm flying in the wrong direction, and I've destroyed my first ship. Yay! And look at that, destructible terrain. All right, well, that was nice. Miner destroyed. I did not. I totally forgot to engage my what do you call them, dampeners, and because of that, our ship smacked into the side of the mountain, so that didn't work well. Alright, let's try this again. Engaging the mining apparatus and drilling. Let's see how this goes. Alright, so we made a little hole. Unfortunately, we lost one of the engines because someone started attacking us. But it looks like it's working. It's a little bit more difficult than in Space Engineers, but you know what? This is the beauty of the game. It's a little bit more challenging now than it used to be. So this is Mars, and I think there's a guy trying to attack us. Let's go to the next planet. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that for some reason, Mars here does have oxygen. So this is also an oxygen-rich planet. Just has a little bit less gravity than Earth. Let's go to the next one, which I think is the alien world. And look at this beauty! Oh my god, this is crazy. Crazy beautiful. So this is the alien world. Let's see what we can find here. I just want to explore this a little bit more. So basically, yes, once again, there's a base. There are some spacecraft here. But this time, we have an alien environment. There's, I guess these are some sort of plants. Alien plants. And what is that thing? I can go through it. That's cool. Terrain looks a little bit different. It's more yellowy brown, and obviously the skies are also gorgeous. Now this is definitely probably going to be my favorite planet to play on, mostly because it looks so unique. I wish they actually added animal life in here as well, because that would be absolutely amazing, but maybe in one of the future updates we'll get some animal life as well. So this is looking incredibly good so far. I'm really happy that they finally managed to achieve the entire planet's mod and included in the actual release of the game. And this is not a DLC, this is an absolutely free edition. So if you have the game, or if you buy the game right now, you'll actually get this as well. Hey, there's our enemy right there. Anyway, so yes, this planet does have a little bit more gravity. It's 1.1 G, which means that it's 10% more gravity than Earth. And it also has a low oxygen, meaning that you have to wear your helmet at all times. And which also means that if you play in survival mode, you'll have to get oxygen generators and you'll have to replenish your oxygen once in a while. But this is such an amazingly looking world. Look at that. Look at how gorgeous this planet is. I'm I'm gonna try to get into the upper atmosphere and see what this looks like from higher up. And then we're going to go to the last planet, which I believe is the moon. And I think they even added a new soundtrack for this particular planet. You can hear it playing in the background. It's a very sort of a soft melodic soundtrack, which I'm really enjoying. And look at the view. This is incredible. Now, one downside to Space Engineers so far, and I guess this mod in general, is that there is a limit to your velocity. Unfortunately, you cannot go faster than 111.5 meters per second unless you're falling. And I think then the speed is like 133 meters per second, meaning that it's still not a very realistic game in terms of Newtonian physics. So unlike Kerbal Space Program, for example, you don't really need to reach a terminal velocity to escape a planet or an asteroid. Even if there is a high gravity, you can just basically use your jetpack or your spaceship to just propel yourself upwards like I'm doing right now and escape the atmosphere that way. So this is what this planet looks like from higher up. We're still in the upper atmosphere. We're actually we're still in the upper atmosphere. We're trying to escape it right now, but there's actually another very similar planet right there, and there's possibly even more somewhere in the vicinity that I don't see yet. But basically, yeah, this is what the new mod is like. It adds these randomly generated planets, and actually, just for fun, let's see if we can make one and then land on it. So I'm going to use Shift 10 and generate a planet that has Europa-like environment. It's going to be a large planet right here, and then we're going to make another one right next to it with moon environment. And lastly, we're going to make another one. I just realized there's another planet we can make that it looks like Titan, so that's cool. So here we go, and all three of them are actually inside each other, and oh my god, they're really far away from me. They're like 340 kilometers away. That's gonna take me a really long time to get to, but you can see kind of I guess you can kind of see the surface of them. But yeah, so because I was able to put them inside each other, this sort of gives you an idea that in terms of the actual physics, this is still a very early sort of version of the game where it doesn't really allow you to have any kind of collisions or destruction, and really it doesn't really have as much realism as games like Universe Sandbox or Kerbal Space Program. Okay, so I don't think I'll be able to reach them anytime soon because this is just way too far away from me. So I'm going to instead start a new world that has moon-like environment on it. And welcome to the moon! This is awesome. This is even more beautiful than I imagined. It has no atmosphere, but you can actually see the entirety of space above you. Here we have very low gravity, obviously no oxygen. And we can kind of bounce pretty easily. And oh, look at that, there's actually a terrestrial planet very close to us, and look at this view. This is so beautiful. What is that? Is that a hole? That's so cool. Alright, this is actually a lot more beautiful than I imagined. This is crazy gorgeous. I'm really loving this so far. So once again, this is yet another planet, and you can mine, explore, and so on. And the view here is just incredibly beautiful. I'm actually going to use this as a screenshot, I think, because this is so gorgeous. And this is actually a very small planet as well, or a moon, I guess. And you can kind of see there's actually an atmospheric layer on this planet, and there's another Mars-like planet right there, and something else behind it, and there's another one right there. There's quite a lot of planets in this particular universe that has been generated. But what I like about the moon, though, is that the gravity here is low enough for me not to actually need to propel myself too much, so I can just basically jump around using just a little bit of propellant and land on any part of the moon and start my new base there. So this is really awesome. So yeah, this is the moon, and let's actually look at the Titan as well. I just want to see what the surface looks like, but so far this is such an incredible mod. So there was no Titan to choose from, but there is something called Habitable Planet, which is basically a world with just one habitable planet, or terrestrial planet in this case. Or you can actually start a new world called Star System that has 3 planets and moons. Let's actually see what this is like. We're going to go inside and check it out. And it just so happens we find ourselves in a spaceship. This is pretty awesome. So okay, this is I guess a new world. And for some reason we're inside of a spaceship. I guess you start by landing on this planet and trying to explore it, and then building a new spaceship or a new base, and then going into the outer solar system and exploring other planets. This is a pretty cool scenario, actually. And if you actually exit the spaceship module, you'll see that you have a construction priorities. Build solar panels, construct a suitable base, build additional refineries, and design combat craft for defensive purposes. So I guess this is how this scenario starts. You start with this lander, and then you try to temporary ship. Oh, it will get removed after you leave the game or spawn a new one. Okay, I see. So this is a scenario where you start with nothing, no base and nothing else, and you have to choose a location for your new base and construct a spacecraft from scratch. Now I'm gonna see what else there is here. We're gonna go into the upper atmosphere and look around, try to see what other planets we have here. And as we're escaping into the atmosphere, you can kind of see there's another moon right there. Let's look for more planets if there are any. One downside to this mod is that there is actually a very limited size of planets. So I mean, this is a pretty small planet, and the maximum size is 120 kilometers in diameter, which is actually, oh no, I think I'm out of fuel. No, I need to get out of here. Let me out. Time to get out. Time to get out. Okay, let's go. Let's just use our own boosters, and we're gonna try to escape the atmosphere. So yeah, the size of the planets is unfortunately a little bit disappointing. They're not as large as I thought they would be, and they don't really get to be larger than 120 kilometers in diameter, which is actually smaller than the smallest dwarf planet that we have in our solar system. So it's not really planets, it's more like large asteroids. I think there's another downside, which is, of course, the distance. So, for example, if I want to reach the side of the planet, I actually have to fly toward it for at least 2 hours. There's a speed limit here, and unless you have a warp drive or you cheat and you try to teleport yourself there, you would have to spend a really long time trying to fly there. And I think that's not a lot of fun. Not many people will enjoy doing that. And obviously, many people will actually just stay on one planet and just try to mine everything on that one planet. But other than that, I think this is a pretty amazing modification, or I guess you could call it a DLC or an update. I'm not even sure what to call it because they've been planning this for a very long time, and I actually took a look at the really early version of it, but it wasn't really as impressive as this. It didn't have the trees, it didn't have so much diverse terrain, and it basically was very bare bones. But this is definitely a much more advanced version that has so much more to offer. Alright, I've officially escaped the gravitational pull of this planet, and now I am in the other universe, the outer space, the new frontier. Let's take a look around, and so this is how far you have to be to escape the gravity. And as soon as you approach the planet, you'll actually get a gravitational effect, so you can disable your thrusters and essentially just fall onto the planet. But yeah, so this is what this new release of Space Engineers is like. I definitely think it's kind of worth taking a look at, especially if you already have Space Engineers. If you don't still have it, I would read more about this game just to see if you like it or not, because just like many other building construction games, its main purpose is to give you a sandbox environment to build spaceships and to then cause destruction with those spaceships. So it's not really meant for things like terraforming or even mining. Mining here is not as easy as in some other games. Unlike games like Kerbal Space Program, exploration or trying to achieve certain goals in terms of landing on different planets is not the main purpose of this particular game. But all in all, this is a pretty cool update. I think it's definitely worth your time to at least read about it and to explore a little bit in more detail. And I'm definitely going to be enjoying this for quite a while. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please subscribe if you still haven't. Like this video, share it with your friends, and game you later. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. And bye-bye to you too, beautiful terrestrial planet. I'm gonna go visit your neighbor right there. Here I go. 3 hours later, I'll be your friend.